This is Drop Tent Media Network.
Late Bloomers with comedians Karen Schwartz and Sandra Doss.
Thank you for tuning in to the Late Bloomers podcast featuring Sandra Doss.
Hi.
and me.
I don't know. And comedian Karen. We're comedians, by the way.
The other one, which is me.
The other one, Karen
Schwartz.
Karen Schwartz. And I don't know. It's like I'm riding some sort of a Bronco. I don't know what came over me.
Just making our own fun. Just making our own fun here. So today, as two Pennsylvanians, we're podcasting here from Pennsylvania. Our weather is changing. Leaf peeping season is right around the corner. And so is a phenomenon that I'm new to learning about as a late bloomer, but the concept of cuffing season.
There you go. I learned so much from you, Karen. I had never heard of this thing before. But I kind of, I don't know. I thought it was something that applied to animals.
I did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it sounds like an animal behavior type thing. But this is actually a people behavior.
But it turns out to be a very, very human and very convenient behavior.
I would
among, I guess, non-married people.
It's a comfort behavior assumed by humans that I'm learning about now. But maybe we should. So cuffing season is a term possibly derived from the slang concept of being handcuffed to another person, where when it begins to become chillier outside, that idea of latching on to a companion to stay indoors with, stay warm with through the wintertime months.
Hence the convenience.
The convenience, the comforts, the convenience, the Hallmark movie, A Boyfriend for Christmas. But basically that idea of attaching to somebody for the cold months, for when it gets darker outside earlier. Your serotonin levels are different because you're not seeing the sun or feeling warmth in any other way. So that idea of attaching to somebody for the cold months, and it's believed to be a short-term concept, which kind of cracks me up because I think the ending day of this season, I think it culminates on, funnily enough, Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
from what I've read.
See, very convenient
from the deep dive I did on this
basically
topic.
People become lonely or light deprived or whatever, and they start they start looking for a mate to spend the colder months with.
Exactly.
And it starts in October and it ends around Valentine's Day.
Right.
So basically all these holidays that are in between those months are also kind of an incentive for people to have someone. It's like, oh, I have someone to take to the holiday party,
right?
Or to see the ball drop on the 31st in New Year's Eve, and and also an FB. And if you don't know what an FB is, look it up in the Urban Dictionary.
You're just talking about a friend with benefits.
Exactly. And there's another term that I'm not going to say, but
so these are all terms, to your point, though, where you're like, if you don't know, look it up. I was married for almost 20 years.
It's an F-buddy. F-buddy. I'm going to say it.
I got married very young. I don't regret a thing. It was a chapter of my life I needed to have. It was meant to happen. My kids happened. A lot of these bigger things in my life happened because of that. But that marriage didn't last. And, for me to be, after 20 years of being inside of that bubble and only knowing life from inside of my little domed snow globe life, that way. And now learning about these types of things like, the FBs and the cuffing season. And I heard a friend use the expression with me, and I had never heard it before. So I need to know. And it's there's a lot of new learning that happens when your life changes.
Well, I was reading a little bit, and apparently it's something that men kind of like more than women, because women are like, oh, well, whenever it happens, it happens. But for men, it's like, oh, it's getting cold, and I don't have a a partner for all these cold months, so they're more amenable to be coupled or handcuffed. But people should know that is very likely to end. Yeah. Of course, it doesn't have to end, and I'm sure that many of those relationships have turned into long-term relationships.
Possibly.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of not. I can't quite relate because I've been married for a long time. I mean, I went from cuffing into ball chaining. So
the ball and chain.
Yeah,
yes,
that's where we are.
Yes, the ankle. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
that's where I am.
Chain.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm sure he sees me as ball and chain. Yeah. But it's the cuffing time was fun.
Right?
It was fun. And then, hey, what are we doing? We got married in January, though.
Oh, there you go. So he locked in during the cold months.
I got him before, before the cuffing season ended.
Right.
It's a long season.
Right before Valentine's Day. That was a smart move on your part.
It's a long season because it starts at the end of fall.
Right.
And then all winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might surf that wave into spring. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. I think in Pennsylvania it may last longer than in other places, of course.
Possibly,
yeah.
Because it's colder here longer.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Yeah. The end dates were a bit scattered, and the duration of the relationship averages were different depending on where I read about it. There did seem to be a trend toward like the right before summertime breakup. That seems to be like I don't know.
Because
like
people want to be
summer.
free.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Just
they want to be out there in the.
A lot of people like
available in the summer.
In the summer, I guess. But
yeah. I guess people. Yeah, I guess a lot of people just don't like commitment like that, or are not ready, or whatever. Whatever their situation may be. But that's kind of in the urban. That's in the urban areas, because I suppose that in places that are very cold, but it's not an urban setting,
right?
What do they do? Is there a place? I guess there are places that have cold summers, like it's cold all year round.
I don't know.
Yeah,
what do they do if it's cold
Greenland
all the time?
or something like that?
Actually, statistically, I wonder if the relationships do better if it's just always cold.
Yeah.
If there's just nothing better to do than stay home and eat on the sofa next to somebody.
Right.
Like, I feel like that could be a foundation to it.
Yeah. Maybe they find a mate sooner in life.
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
As you can see, we have not done our research is very incomplete, people. Because, always remember, you don't come here to learn things.
I mean, I have done some field research. Like now that I have done the whole dating thing later in life, which is very strange. Very strange at my age. I feel like re-entering that idea of connecting to a companion, and you don't know how long you're talking about it being for, and all that kind of stuff.
But hey, we're late bloomers.
We're late bloomers.
We do everything whenever we feel like.
Right. And
we're
sometimes we figure it out as we go, because sometimes it's the only way. So something that I noticed after being back out in the wild, so to speak, after my divorce, it was when I was trying to check out dating apps and just trying to find a companion again, or just at least to see what it was like to look for a companion again. I did notice during this particular time of year, there was definitely a seasonal uptick in activity. Like I felt like there seemed to be more men on the apps. I seemed to get more messages. Just there seemed to be more communication in general back when I was looking. Yeah.
That's
back
very
when I was
interesting.
looking. It was interesting. And you will notice too, the ads, the the dating service ad, like the app ads.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that you have to pay to be part of, like eHarmony.
You start getting more of that.
Yeah, I did notice a lot more, like in my email, like a lot more in the inbox, a lot more ads, a lot more deals. You know, trying to kind of play into that Hallmark single girl, like, don't you want to find somebody, you know, that kind of a thing.
Because you have to pay a membership, right?
Oh, absolutely. So the worst one, I did spend some money after I did try a few free apps back then. And, you know, there was usually, you know, people I would match with if we got to that point where I learned their last name, which normally they would want to wait as long as possible to tell me that. And then I would like look them up on like PAE Docket, which is our like the free app for the criminal record search. Then you'd see all their stuff and then you would realize why they were on the free one. You know, so I'd be like, oh man, you know, there was a lot of that kind of stuff out there. So I did,
scary.
There's a lot. Yeah. So I did bite the bullet and I went, that's a weird pun to use for the expression for the people at the criminal records, but I did go ahead and I took the steps I paid for eHarmony,
right,
to see if I did any better there, or I was matched with somebody maybe more like me, you know. I'm not perfect, but I would like it to be somebody who has been convicted.
Like him to be perfect.
I would like it to be less convicted than the other guys.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I'm just looking for less convicted.
I like that. Oh, how
so,
nice. Less convicted.
Yeah, you know, like a reasonable amount, you know, that you could bring around your family around the holidays.
Like, man, you stole gum at age 15. You're good.
Know, I could live with that. But yeah, some of the stuff, yeah, you know. So I I did go ahead and I paid for eHarmony, but what was worse than the payment was all the essay questions. That was worse than applying for college or a job, just applying for somebody to like you back. Like just that whole, I did all the essays.
All the essays. It said more than one essay.
It was a lot. Well, those 29 points of compatibility, you have to answer many prompts.
I guess many sites also have like some sort of a filter, not just to determine compatibility, but also kind of to do a little bit of a screening to make sure they don't have wackos there, or do they not?
See, and there's the thing, because with that price and that amount of investment on my part, financially and time-wise, I did come to it with a certain expectation that I would attract somebody relatively normal. I don't know. I just thought so. The people on the ad looked nice. I was matched with somebody where he was, to their description, a 100% match. Like, how do you get better than that? Like, that's awesome. He was a retired police officer, didn't live too far away. Like, he was within the hour, which I can deal with that. And we messaged through the app for a little while. And then he asked me for my actual phone number so we could have a phone conversation, which I would always agree to that right away because you want to hear the person's voice. You know what I mean? But anyway, he used my phone number for more than just calling me, because we were on the phone shortly after I gave him the number. And while talking, maybe just a few minutes in, I'm holding my phone because I'm talking on it. But then a message came through from his number in the text. It was a close-up picture of my feet. Yeah.
So he went through all your pictures on social media and found your feet.
So get this.
He showed them to you.
He sent me a picture of my feet, zoomed in on them, blew them up, and sent me the picture. And then he said, "Hey, I just sent you something. Take a look at it." And I looked at it. And it's my shoes in my feet in a pair of sandals.
Oh, wow.
And he said, what is that? What's going on with your feet? And I took a step back and I said, wait a second. That wasn't on my eHarmony dating profile. He goes, no, it wasn't. But, it's really nothing. I mean, I didn't go on like the dark web or anything. I just took your phone number and I did a reverse number lookup to find out your last name. And then I did a Google search of your last name to find out where you worked. And then I looked at your works website.
Google Maps zeroed in on the planet.
And then I saw some pictures of you that your work had posted. And then I saw a picture of you at what appeared to be an elementary school art show.
Oh my.
And I remembered you saying you're an art teacher and you were wearing a dress and then some strappy sandals. And some people really like strappy sandals. That's how he segued into some people like strappy sandals. And I wanted to get a better look at your strappy sandals. And I zoomed in and I saw your feet. What's going on with those? And I said, wow.
Well, I have 2 of them.
That's a very long way of getting around the fact that, yeah, I have bunions on my feet.
Oh,
Like,
you
I
go.
definitely have, maybe not the prettiest feet, but oh my God, like but he was like, oh, all I did was, and then all I did was, and then he had like 7 pages of all I did
terrifying.
was.
Forget it. No.
And I thought, oh my God, I paid actual money to be connected in any way with this man, to be having this conversation right now, for him to do weird Google searches on me to see my feet. I paid somebody money for this to happen to me.
That's terrible.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Also, I love that Sandra said, like, he didn't just tell you, he told you he's into feet. Whatever your feet look like doesn't matter. He went through a very long process to tell you, hey, just no big deal. I'm into feet big time.
He's into feet. And
right.
And feet weren't any one of my 29 points of compatibility that I spoke about. It wasn't any of my hobbies. Like, I don't have any foot related interests to. Yeah.
It's a very long walk for a short bridge. You know what I mean?
It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah. So I paid money.
He was
for that
into feet, and obviously that was very important to him. He didn't ask you. He didn't say it right off the bat, or he didn't put it. I'm assuming that
exactly. Sorry. Yeah.
I think he should have opened.
I'm assuming that in their you got essays, he got essays. Well, so he had to do the same.
In his essay,
he didn't say, "Look, I'm looking for a female
with feet
that has feet." First of all. And those feet must be bunionless or whatever.
Pedicure, perhaps. Pedicure preferred.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot, you guys. That was a lot.
You should have gone and looked for things about him. Like,
that was time and money.
You have hair in your ears and you didn't tell me.
Right.
Like, or what's with the hair in your back or what?
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I wished him well. I wished him well.
That's so difficult.
Hoping that I'm sure there's a lady out
I
there.
I have a friend that did that, and she eventually met someone wonderful, and she's married now. But I remember,
does she have really nice feet?
She does have good feet.
See, well, there you go.
She has.
That's the thing. That's the difference between her and me.
Beautiful feet. But I remember that I would sit with her.
Yeah.
And look at the different candidates.
Yeah.
And we would go like, "What do you think of this one?" We would talk, and it was actually fun to see how much they lied, because they all like hikes. And I do,
everybody lies.
Parachute jumping and all kinds of things that you're like, no, that's a lie.
Yeah.
He just wants you to think that he's exciting, and he just doesn't know how. And he's, all that has to be a lie, because it's not possible that out of 5 guys, 4 like all these, are like basically a blend of James Bond and John Cena and some other guy, like Crocodile Hunter, and they just, of course, they're selling themselves,
Yeah.
But then, what's true?
Right.
What is true from all that? Oh my goodness.
I was just training for my 100-mile race through the desert. Yeah, no, like some of this stuff. You're like, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that I think men lie more than women.
Paddleboarding.
Men are more likely to lie than women are.
I think women lie a little bit, though. I think women lie about stuff that maybe there's something a woman's done with a previous companion that she didn't think she would like, but learned that it was okay. And then they'll put it out there like, hey, if you're into this, I'm okay with it too. I don't mean like butt stuff. I mean like hiking, camping.
We went from one,
I just want to be clear that I meant, like interests you can talk about, like at work with people. Yeah, like, we went camping last weekend, or we did whatever, right? It might be more the other person's thing, but if you're flexible and you're like, hey, I'm in it for the companionship and, for the company, maybe not the activity, like the activity is secondary to, hey, I just like being around this person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and women could lie. In fact, I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember I have this friend that used to tell her brother every time her brother started dating a girl, she would say, take her to the beach, and that way you will see her. Because at the beach, you get in the water or whatever, and all the makeup and all the hair, whatever, and all the enhancements, will be washed off, and then you'll see her. And that was a good idea.
That's
I
a good
think.
idea. That's
Not that we want to lie, but we enhance ourselves for our own pleasure because we like looking good.
Right.
But also, I guess to attract a partner and to some extent. And many times some people really look very different when you take all that off.
That's true. Well, I mean, good for him for suggesting actually visiting the beach with the girl. And
No,
not
that was
just,
a woman. That was my
Oh, that was
girlfriend.
okay.
She told her brother.
She told her brother to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I do appreciate that being the advice, and not do a really weird deep dive and find pictures of her at the beach that somebody already snoop her Instagram. Maybe she already posted herself.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of that.
Well, this happened before the internet.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay.
But just going together, I always would encourage over the weird internet detective.
Definitely.
Finding pictures.
Yeah.
That's super creepy.
Especially from a cop. I don't do the.
Yes, I know. And he found out all that stuff within seconds. I mean, that was the thing. The amount of time between me giving him my actual phone number so we could talk without using the app, it was too quick. It was way too fast. How quickly he just I mean, I've seen people on MTV's Catfish take longer to find out things.
You were gonna say cat shit.
Cat shit. I almost said cat shit. I was trying to say catfish. MTV's Catfish. I have seen the Catfish guys require more time to find information online than this man took. It was ridiculous. It was very scary how quick.
Yeah, and cops do have access to stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. They're not supposed to use it, unless it's for work. But they can, and they do. I suppose. I mean, goodness.
Well, then
so it's hard to find someone to. You first have to select someone that you would even want to cuff,
right? Well, you got to decide if you want to be tethered to this person. You got to get to know them.
Sorry, one question, because I thought you were about to say it. Did he follow you on Instagram?
No.
Okay. You might be safe then. You're fine.
Oh, no, right.
That's usually the move when I hear from women. They're usually like, if it doesn't work out, it's fine. But if they follow you on Instagram, it's kind of a thing of they still want to check in on you.
That's
you know what I mean?
Well, the thing about an Instagram follower, though,
it's fine,
which is interesting, is that a lot of people on Instagram don't use a name that even sounds anything like their real name.
True.
So, let's say if I do a bar show somewhere.
Yeah.
And then
comedy show.
Oh, look, I did a set at this bar, and look, I have a new follower now. I might be like, yay, that's so cool. But to your point, it might not be so cool. It could be a follower I don't want. Like a stalker follower, like a bad
crazy people.
That's a very good point.
One thing about, female comedians have to have a very, heightened, radar. You never know.
Yeah. Like situational awareness. That's what the police tell us to do.
Very important.
The police, when they train us at school, tell us to develop our situational awareness.
And I thought I shouldn't say we. I thought I was, above, and all that was behind me. But guess what? No.
So
I'm like, oh, I'm flattered, but no,
Well, because you've been in this marriage for how long have you been married?
27 years.
That's amazing. See, that's beautiful. That's like what, when I look at my parents or my aunt and uncle, who have, that type of
27 years.
I admire that so much. Like, that's really cool. But now that you're outside performing as a comedian,
it's happened. Sometimes
now you're attracting that
someone follows you or someone it's like too intense, and immediately I'm like, this person is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a man, and I thought this would not happen, but it has happened. And as flattering as that is, it's also very scary. And so I can imagine that for other women it happens a lot more. I don't know. I guess some women can also be that way. Kind of baby reindeer-ish kind of thing.
like a woman stalker.
Have you seen Baby Reindeer?
I haven't. I need to. I know that I need to.
Well, it's someone who's a female that that's like an extreme stalker.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting show. Okay. You should watch it. I think most people have seen it because it was a hit as soon as it came out. Because it's kind of different. And it could happen to anybody also. Yeah.
Oh, I jumped in. I got you. Sandra, you were about to ask, I think, like the first stage is like finding someone of cuffing season. Then we move on, right? I think you were about to, what's the next stage of cuffing season?
Well, I was going to talk about how for me, the
yeah.
season is different. You know, I'm trying to bring that.
Yeah.
So, so you have to, so you use those applications or whatever other, you can meet someone anyway, in any way you can connect with someone for cuffing season. And I can see that in places like where we live in Philadelphia, it's pretty cold during winter. But in my experience, of course, this is before I got married, you know, this is, 28, 30 years ago. I lived in Panama, which is very tropical and it's hot all year round. And there is no cold season. However, I would say that the equivalent would be probably carnival season, which happens, it's like Mardi Gras, same around February, like that. And then that, I would say it's pretty short, but still people tend to try and find somebody. It's not something that people plan on doing, but it happens.
Okay.
In fact, people try to be single at the beginning of carnival in case they meet somebody. Of course, a lot of people cheat on their whatever, but carnival could be probably the equivalent. And yeah, I would say people hook up a lot. And that is why there are so many November babies like yours truly.
Oh,
I'm a carnival baby.
Very interesting.
Because you count 9 months, backwards, and it's carnival time.
Okay.
Now, my parents were married, but there are many November babies of people who were not married, And
that's so interesting.
I remember when I told my mom, I'm a November baby. She was so embarrassed. She was so embarrassed. But they were married. They were no, not honeymoon, but they were still newlyweds, probably 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like newly married, that's like a big, I mean,
yeah,
that's great.
And my dad, I mean, he was an American. He was like, where are we going? Carnival? Okay, let's go. What are we doing? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, people are more amenable to, connect in that way. But that's, that's, and afterwards I got married and, I ball and chained it all the way. So
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Cause, you mentioned Mardi Gras, which is right. It's in the winter, right?
That's what it is.
That's like February, right? January, February.
I didn't even think about that.
Mardi Gras comes from the concept of carnival, which is, it's actually a religious thing. I mean, I don't know how it is in the Armenian religion, but it might be similar. It might be the same. It's for Catholics.
Armenians do have like our version of Lent and all those.
Yeah.
Things.
For,
so
this whole thing of carnival is a very Catholic
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, originally, and, you're supposed to basically let loose before Lent and all that.
I completely forget. I forgot that goes right into cuffing. Yeah, like that's in there. That's at the end.
Calendar.
In there. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, it's supposed to be a festival of the flesh.
Oh,
Carnevale. And carne is flesh.
Okay.
And but some people interpret it as meat, as in eating meat.
Okay.
So that's why during Lent, many people give up meat.
Oh.
Especially, I've met a lot of Italians who do that. They, they give up meat during Lent, but then during the days of Carnival, they're staking it out. Yeah. And I suppose that if they're not married, they're cuffing it because it's February, if they live in a cold place. And if not, they're still going through the motions to have a baby. If they're married, to have a baby in November.
Right. How bad am I at math that I still can't? So I was born in March, and I don't know why I would want to know what month my parents made me.
You.
I don't think I need that as a visual in my head, but I'm trying to math out the calendar, and I'm March.
What was happening?
Yeah.
March, you would have been, when were you? You were, towards the end of it, right? Yeah, you're like June.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. They would have gotten together. Let's say.
Let's say
Yeah.
okay.
For the sake of that.
Well, summer is also, people
Yeah.
are scantily clad.
Oh, I want to tell you guys something. A joke that I love from a great comic. If you don't, you probably already know, but Dana Gould, and everyone should check out Dana Gould. But he has
very
such
funny.
a beautiful joke about this. He just goes, my father, I would call him, he didn't have the class or sophistication of Archie Bunker, but very close, right? And then he goes, to give you an idea, I was born 9 months and 2 days after the Kennedy assassination.
Wow.
Which tells you everything about how it tells you everything you need to know about how my father processes grief. Because he's from New England. Yeah. So it's a very Kennedy heavy. Yeah. One of my favorite written jokes. It's like, that's the cuffing. Yeah.
You're a
It's,
big history guy.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess if you're lucky enough to find someone for the season, then what do you do? I guess, you got to do all the pumpkin stuff. You got to do all the
Pumpkin.
got to do all the seasonal stuff. I guess.
I gotta get my pumpkin spice bunions ready for
There you go.
my OnlyFans page.
Yeah, I just saw a cream, a
Bunion
pumpkin
Dungeon.
spice foot cream today
BunionDungeon.com.
at Anthropology because I'm fancy now.
Yeah.
I went to a restaurant that's right next to Anthropology to have lunch with a friend that I
Mhm.
hadn't seen in a while. And since I was there, I was like, well, I'm here.
Yeah.
Why not just mosey on to the store and, and look at all the overpriced stuff.
Mhm.
And I did. And I ended up buying something, a tiny thing. But hey,
Some anthropology though.
Anthropology. Yeah.
So what would you get?
It was, what did I buy? Well, it was not the pumpkin spice foot cream, but I did see it. It was like a little perfume, like a purse size perfume. I really like those. I like smelling good. You never know,
You never know.
You never know.
Well, you're
Especially-
married, but it's nice that you still try.
Well,
It's good. I
sometimes
respect
it's
that.
too much. I went to see this improv show the other day, and I don't know if you've been to Comedy Sports or the space where they do their shows, but it's people are pretty tightly, you're very close to the next person. You may not know, you don't know this person. And I was like, oh shit, I put on too much perfume. And I was like, and then the guy next to me was like looking at me and I said, is it too much? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just go with the gusto, right? Yeah, but I did see that pumpkin spice.
There you go.
Foot cream.
There you go. It's out there.
It's out there. It's out there because they put it on everything.
They did. They probably put it out in August. Probably. They always start.
I don't
earlier.
like that. I call it season pushing.
It is. It's season pushing. So yes.
So I'm pushing the cuffing on people.
I know the cuffing. It's getting pushed. But yeah. So I guess phase 1 of cuffing season is the hunting and the securing your person.
Yeah.
Right. And then I guess it's figuring out that mutual agreement that like you're just together. Like, right. There's just the two of you.
Yeah.
Right.
How many parties are we going to do during this season?
Yeah, this is my question. That's the question I have for this, because seasonal events in my family, you do not bring new people to.
No, exactly.
That's wild. No, New Year. I think you're nailing it with New Year's
New
Eve.
Year's.
Yeah.
We all know that one.
Yeah, but
We all want somebody.
some families are not
Just-
like that. Some people are like, oh, whatever, you have a friend.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure, that's true.
Because
but I don't.
I've met people that are so happy that their kids come, that they
Sure.
don't show up at all.
You
That
are
they're
right.
like, oh, bring your friend and they don't care about the friend.
Yeah.
They just want to see their loved child or
Right.
whatever that doesn't come home that often.
I'm thinking Halloween for sure. You're doing Halloween parties. It's for everybody.
Yeah,
That's
You
for
bring,
everybody.
you bring a new girlfriend.
Oh, you totally.
Boyfriend,
It's
whoever.
Halloween.
yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
once
Totally.
after
yeah.
that, you're not bringing a new
Like Thanksgiving, that's a big deal.
I was
like
brought-
Thanksgiving. I feel like
I was
that's
brought
You were brought first
I
year.
was
How
brought
far? How many
by-
days? How many months were you guys in? Wait,
not that
see,
many. Not that many.
damn, he had to
And
be
he
short.
he
brought
must
me
have known
home.
he was going to marry you though,
He-
because you
he-
can't
he
just bring
told-
somebody around to Thanksgiving.
He said he did, that he felt
Okay.
that he would. And I had a good feeling about him, but I didn't really know what,
Yeah.
Right.
was going to happen. And another thing is that I didn't really have a place to go.
Okay.
That's another thing,
Oh,
because
that
my
kinda
dad's
gotcha.
family lived very far away. And I was not going to go back to Panama.
Right.
during that short
Like for
break.
Thanksgiving.
And I don't know what happened, but I just didn't have anything lined up. And he said, "Oh, sure, come." And but it was all laid back. In fact, we had oysters and not turkey for Thanksgiving, and I love that.
I can get down with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a big turkey fan.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I mean, now I have to
Yeah.
eat more of it, for various health reasons.
Yeah.
But I was very happy that it was oysters.
That sounds
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Can't go down the turkey run because I totally agree. Turkey overrated.
Oh.
It's a whole thing. But yeah, that's true. But I don't know. Would you guys so if you came to Thanksgiving early, then Christmas? You went to Christmas?
Then there's Christmas. And then it's Dubai.
Or-
then it's
no,
then if
Christmas
you're,
I spent with family.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then there's that whole when you're in the new relationship, it's like buying each other gifts topic comes up. It's like, where do we stand on that? Like there's a lot of weird hurdles.
Yeah.
All kind of compressed into these
Yeah,
the
because it's not your
holidays and
husband. You're
right.
not engaged.
right.
It could be cuffing. You don't know.
Yeah.
So you get him what? Cufflinks?
It's probably what I am.
And he gets you what? A cuff bracelet? I wouldn't be
A
opposed to
cuff
that.
bra-
No,
right, cuff
That
bracelet, yeah.
sounds more like engaged ring gift. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but I guess a gift that's nice, but
I
not.
don't know if there's such a thing as an engagement cuff.
I
I
bet
don't
if it's
think so.
expensive enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a Condom Kingdom on South Street. Yep.
There you go.
Definitely. Definitely.
Look at that. See, I learn. I
that's
learn a
good
lot.
gift, like for the person who has everything. Like
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like again the holidays I wouldn't be able to make it through. I feel like there'd be no way she's coming to Thanksgiving or Christmas. My family would make fun of me. I'm saying this is like there's no
Your family would make fun of you.
not because it's a big deal,
yeah.
right? For us it would be because you just don't bring those are sort of like family
Yeah.
holidays. So first year, no, you'd have to be in like a 2-year relationship for that to be happening, really.
Like for the
Like,
person
or
with the
like
cut.
Yeah, or you started dating in January,
Yeah.
and maybe
my mom used to be that way.
Yeah.
My mother. Yeah, but his parents are more kind of, I don't know.
yeah, we don't cuff over here. We don't take no guff. We don't cuff.
Yeah.
All right, that's what we do.
Yeah. I could
Like
never.
that.
This concept of coughing is something that my family would scoff at.
They
Mhm.
would.
They scoff at coughing. Coughing.
Right.
They were cough at
Yeah.
They would
coughing.
cough it.
There you go.
I mean, I think that would only be if they completely assumed it was a temporary person, like a placeholder.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't think the person was really right
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you
Well,
do.
yeah. Well, my parents didn't like me using the word. Well, the thing is that the word in Spanish for boyfriend,
Is that novio?
novio, but see, novio is also the groom when you're marrying that person.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it the same word?
That is the same word.
That's the same word.
It's the same word. So I would say you would have to use a different word in for my parents.
Right.
You have to use my friend, in English it's boyfriend. And there
Right.
you have it could
Right.
be anything. But,
That's so interesting.
it's like my friend, but then he's not your friend. My special friend, that sounds weird. So what,
I know.
so what they preferred is just not to call it anything. He's my friend. They knew it.
Yeah.
He was a special friend, but don't tell me anything about a novio, about a boyfriend,
Funny.
unless you're engaged,
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I guess the word will never be mentioned because I was telling Karen earlier that my dad thought I would never marry because he said that nobody would put up with me. And he said, it's probable that nobody will put up with you, that you have to learn how to fix a car. And so he wanted to teach me all these things. I never learned them, by the way, because it's too much grease on my hands. Getting dirty, I don't know. Mm-mm. So I should have. It's a good skill to have. But he said, who's going to put up with you?
Resourceful.
Because you have all these, you have so many interests and you're busy with what the things that you want to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And many men don't like that. He didn't say that he didn't support me. He said that the reality is that many men don't like that. But
No, but the right one,
The right one.
the right one thinks that's
Right.
cool that you have your own stuff,
Exactly.
and that's what you want.
yeah. And,
Yeah.
and yeah.
You don't want
Yeah.
you don't want somebody that's like, well, what are you doing that for?
Well,
Where
no,
are you going? Like you want to be with somebody that's supportive of the things that you're
Yeah.
doing, and hopefully has their own things that they're into.
He has his own
you know,
interest.
right?
That's the
right.
thing. He thinks,
Yeah.
I don't want you in my hair asking me, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Go and find your own interests. And also he says he likes me. I'm in a better mood when I go out and do something that I
Right.
enjoy.
Well, it's what makes
know.
you you.
And then
So,
we
yeah.
have something to talk about. So what happened? What did you do? What was what video game are you playing? He loves
Mhm.
video games. And he's tried me to participate, but it's just I can't do things that don't have an end. And so he's he likes it. He loves it.
Yeah.
You know, that's how he decompresses. And he loves to hear the stories of open mics and who misbehaved, were the cops called, and
Yeah.
who was doing what, and who said what, and they said the what word, and how did the whats react to the what
Right.
word being said, and all that. He loves that. He loves that. It's like, well, it's interesting. You're meeting different people.
Yeah.
You're interacting.
Yeah, like performing like at night, in front of audiences, or
Yeah.
like, and even just the camaraderie you have with the other people who are
Yeah.
the comedians. I feel like our conversations are just funnier than the things I get to talk about at school during my day, because, well, at night it's less structured. And so and there's also more room for funny things to happen. You know what I mean? There could be somebody in the room who's like gets too drunk or whatever, and something off the wall happens. I don't know. I just know my nighttime stories have exponentially improved compared to what they were once when I wasn't doing this. When you know what I mean? When I had other hobbies where I was just hanging out around the house to do those hobbies, whenever you're socializing with other people, way better stories.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
much funnier.
because it's also the effect that other people have on you, and how you react to things, although you have a pretty fun and funny job because you work with children.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun though. It's fun. I mean, I love my job. I love it.
Mhm.
The kids are naturally so funny. They don't even know it. It's hilarious. And my favorite is when there's a parent helping me out in the room who overhears some of what goes on. So I have somebody else to look and be like, you heard that too? Because that's like so fun. Like, because So
Well, I remember
I love
those
that.
days of helping at the school.
Yeah.
Oh my, I was like not really helping. I felt that I was a hindrance there. I was like, what can I help? What can I do? I just want to be,
Well, you do that
here.
when your kid's there. It's kind of a fun time. And then
Yeah, but it's like, oh, okay, they're humoring parents. That's when they're little, and then they don't want you around. In high school, they're like, no,
oh yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, there's a certain point where you can't.
no,
You can't come in and out.
not that I was there all the time, or ever. But I did notice that they discouraged all that, which is fine. They should, and they're getting ready for the world or whatever. So, yeah.
Oh, I have one more question.
Yeah,
'Cause
sure.
I know you
Yeah,
said
'cause
there
we
was
went off topic.
different. You said there was different times when cuffing season comes to an end.
Yeah, there was a little bit. So the end of cuffing season, there was a little bit of disparity. Like, so the beginning was early October or the colder months, right? But early October, everybody seemed to agree on is the start, which cracks me up because that's exactly when my parents got married. So that cracks me up because their anniversary, beginning of October. But the end time, according to the lore, is
According to the Lord.
according to the Lord, not the Lord, the lore of cuffing season. They used Valentine's Day as an
That
event,
seems premature.
which is weird because so if you survive Valentine's Day together, okay, if one or both of you are thinking, okay, let's just get to Valentine's Day, just so I don't feel weird on Valentine's Day for breaking up right before Valentine's Day or whatever, you make it over that hurdle,
and then you have, when is Groundhog Day?
Before then,
Yeah, because you got to
Before
have
then,
someone for Groundhog Day.
have to. We all agree. Arbor Day, no,
at least I do. Yeah,
but they're President's Day. Everybody,
It's cuffing it up.
everybody's cuffing it up
For
for President's
President's
Day.
Day.
You gotta get your President's Day cuffing in. But the I think end date, it was sketchy. So there was, like I said, Valentine's Day, But then like the summer, like June, as soon as it got warmer, and it was almost like that idea of like taking off. I'm going to do my own thing for the summer.
Right.
And it cracks me up because I have dated guys that did that.
Yeah.
Where right before summer, it was like, the whole time you're dating them, you hear about their family's beach house. You hear nothing. You hear about the beach house through all the winter months, and you're like, okay, I gotta hang in there for this beach house. You're helping the divorced dad paint his kid's bedroom every other weekend or whatever the hell you're doing. You hang in there for the beach house, the payoff of the beach house, in the summer. And then right before summer, it's like they realize that, I think we just want different things. Oh yeah, you want to be single at the beach house. The different things that you want. Yeah. So
I think by Valentine's Day, they start planning their exit. That's when it starts. Okay, so when is it going to happen?
Sure.
Because then I was going to say Easter. I'm blending like popular stuff with a lot of like Christian calendar. And I don't know, maybe there's a Jewish holiday blended in and who knows, maybe an Eastern Orthodox too.
Jesus is back, so I'm going to leave.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
There's not room for both of us here.
Oh my God, resurrected. Let's eat ham. Okay, I don't eat ham. I'm sorry. I'm out. There you go. There you go. That works for at least two groups. They're not friends with one another.
You know what?
But
daylight savings time. A lot of guys can't handle the commitment of the relationship and all the changes of daylight savings time.
Like, now there's more daylight. I hate you.
You got to math out your hour, the change.
Yeah.
The time of day change.
Oh
when you spring ahead, falling back, not a problem. The springing ahead. Sometimes they're springing ahead right out of the relationship.
Yeah. They're like, summer is when I keep my options open.
Right.
So, it's not that I don't like you. It's that, I like you and others. And so, let's just cut these handcuffs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, well, what are your pieces of advice? I would break up before Valentine's Day.
You would.
Why are you
save money? If you break up before Valentine's Day, you save some money because then you don't have to buy the person anything.
You don't.
Which probably is why I've gotten broken up with right before Valentine's. I don't know. I'm just thinking about this
because they're thinking, they don't have to.
Saying a month
do
before.
The whole thing.
A good month. A month makes it look like it just so happened to be that.
Yeah, January 15th. I'm doing my taxes and I'm
breaking up. Groundhog Day. That's a little commitment.
You're right. You can go.
You're doing your taxes and you're writing something else off too. Yeah, I know. That's possibly.
Yeah. I did my taxes and I realized that I just
need to get a divorce.
I just need to uncuff this.
Did you realize it's financially more advantageous to you both?
Yeah, imagine that.
I did our quarterlies.
That would be accountants. Like, okay, let's plan out the cuffing based on finances, on tax season. Let's use it to our advantage, regain our sanity, whatever. Keep our options open.
Right.
Yeah, but I think it gets tiring.
Yeah. I mean, as when I'm not going to frame this as for women, but I will say, let's just frame it a little bit. Have you ever looked at girlfriends, people that are more intuitive, let's say, and been like, this is just cuffing season? Like they just met somebody new, they're fantastic.
They know.
Actually,
yeah.
I've had friends. I have had friends who knew they were just in it for the short term.
Yeah,
okay.
I do too.
I
do too.
I have,
and actually, some women, as we become wiser and more mature, want it that way.
Sure.
Well, because they don't want to have, they want their freedom, but they want a partner.
Yeah. But
at the same time, they don't want to have like that commitment.
Right.
They want to have the convenience of not having someone.
You just need somebody to hibernate with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then it's not like they're looking, it's not that they're want to be with different guys, but they're like, okay, this is going to be short and it's fine. And, and then I'll just chill, and then,
I guess if you ever had somebody who didn't know they were like, he's amazing. And you're like, you meet him and you're like, I think this is just a cuffing thing.
Like, right. I think you're being cuffed.
I'm not getting, you're getting cuffed.
You're getting arrested. It's a misdemeanor thing. It's kind of you're getting arrested. It's a short term in jail.
That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, it's gonna be like community service, and then you're free to go.
I think someone just needs a date to a wedding, or like I know, right? There's other cuffing scenarios, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
This
I
thing of
think.
dates for weddings, that's tough because then you're spending a lot of time with this person that you just brought so to avoid some awkwardness and all that. And maybe,
Yeah.
you know,
I was brought as a wedding date to this guy's niece's wedding.
did you know
a few
anyone
years
there?
ago. What's that?
Did you know anyone aside from the guy that
I
you
knew.
were
Well,
with?
I knew his sister technically met me first and wanted me to meet her brother, but then so I kind of already had a little bit of an in with the family, but not from knowing them on any deep level. Like they just kind of knew me as an acquaintance. But I worked with them at a painting studio, and the sister thought I was cute and funny and wanted me to meet her brother. Anyway, I went to this wedding. And they wanted me in all the pictures.
See, that's
the group
weird.
photos, but they didn't
weird.
they didn't even put me on an end where I could be properly photoshopped out. They were sticking me like near the middle, and I'm like, I was like, oh, this isn't good. And then they had this slab of wood out with Sharpies that we were all supposed to sign because they were going to shellac it and make it this like art piece for their house. And they're like, here, sign it. I'm like, they're going to be like, who the hell is that? Like, I knew by the way he was acting around me. I knew he wasn't even going to talk to me the next day.
Yeah,
I
but the
knew
family
it. I knew it by the way he
didn't
picked
know.
me up. I knew it by the way the wedding was going. I'm like, I'm just.
By the way the wedding was,
I knew
the way
I was
he was
just,
behaving
I
with
knew
you.
I was only there as just because he needed a date, and I knew it wasn't turning into anything from this.
But
And
his family thought it was.
oh, everybody's like, oh, and I'm thinking, oh my God, why am I hugging your grandma? Like it was so weird because I knew I was never going to see any of them again.
And sure
I knew.
enough,
I knew by the way he was treating me. I was like, this guy's not interested. Like he wasn't. Yeah. I was like, okay, he's lost interest or just wasn't there in the first place. But I was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll make the most of it. I'll have fun. It was a fun play. But I was like, please don't ask me to sign permanent things and
Really
stand in the middle of the group photo. And oh yeah, it was a lot.
My sister's very blunt. She'd be like, get her out of there. She's, it's like,
I
your girl ain't gonna be here later.
I would have been that way.
Funny.
I would have put the person on the, I would have said, can you please, can we take a picture and, or whatever, bring her a glass of wine or whatever, I would have said something.
Oh,
distract her. Just throw wine that way. Be like, take a picture real quick.
Oh
like,
gosh,
look at squirrel. Oh my God.
It was horrible.
Yeah. They're doing an ice sculpture over there. Why don't you go and check it out?
That would work on me.
It would work on me too.
Oh my gosh, it was really funny.
Like a chocolate fountain. Go open your mouth.
Really.
Fountain.
Yeah, like when you're seeing
Anything
somebody,
to distract the person.
like when you're seeing somebody and they don't want to talk about next weekend with you because like I don't know, I kind of have a lot going on. That's pretty easy to tell. Like I mean, that's what like that's it. So I knew that was my cue that was it.
Yeah.
And like I know this weekend with the wedding, but hey, if you're not doing anything next week, well, I don't know. I have to look at next week. I don't know. Next weekend's kind of got going on.
Glad you dodged a bull.
Daylight savings time. Yeah, right. So
Dodged a bullet on
I
that
knew, right. But it was just funny though.
I also wouldn't bring someone. I mean, that's his mistake. I mean,
Oh yeah.
like, why are you bringing her the way? I mean, it's not.
I think he's that guy though that's just always done that.
That's weird.
Like he never had the 20 years of being married like I did. So like I think for his family, there always just was like a girl in the rotation. I think there was just a seasonal person.
Yeah.
All of every year. I think he just had a seasonal
Many times they're used to seeing
person.
your face and they're like, fine.
Yeah.
That's how they'll have him there.
This
is
is where my
what
family.
I was saying.
Yeah, this is where my family would make fun of me.
mine
They would
too.
do some jokes, but which one's this?
Oh yeah.
My sister's carrying it up.
And that's why you got to be careful. And right. Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle's
Yeah.
making fun. Yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah. I don't know. I would just not bring anybody.
Yeah.
I would go by myself, not have that awkward moment. I don't know. Who will I dance with? By myself.
Right.
Dancing with myself.
Right.
Yeah. So what? I've been to several weddings where people are dancing in a group lately.
Right.
And it's fine. Young and old. And they all had a good time. They all did all kinds of, break dancing situations. And where did you hear that term cuffing?
I heard it from right after my divorce. A friend of mine who I was shocked when I heard that her husband had another person in his life other than her. And so
this was years ago that you heard this.
It was. And so she was sharing her situation with me and I didn't realize we were in both such a similar boat. And she used the phrase. She was like, "Oh, cuffing season is coming up," and because somebody, like a couple of guys, we were out at a bar, and a couple of guys walked over to our table to start up some chit chat. And she leaned in, she was like, cuffing season. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I knew her kids were involved in 4-H. I just thought it had to do with horses. I had no idea what she was talking about. I didn't know it was a thing. So I had to look it up.
Oh, wow.
I had to look it up. Yep.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I suppose people can get lonely. I don't know. But then why
I have
not?
been. I'm not going to lie. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like over the years, like the past few, if you're dating the wrong person, you can feel very lonely. It can feel horrible. Like it's actually worse than being actually alone.
Yeah.
But there were times that like I would think to myself, like it'd be nice to come home to somebody. You know what I mean? And now I get to, and that is nice. Like if you're coming home, you know what I mean? Like it is nice. So
yeah, but I think
I didn't think I would want that again.
Yeah,
but
I don't think right now you're in a cuffing relationship.
No.
Like so.
No, like we like met each other's parents. Like I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
So,
and it started during summer. It kind of spring.
Okay. So hard to say where we started because he was at the very first open mic I ever performed at. He was there with his dad. And I remembered thinking to myself, as audience members, he and his dad were there. And I remembered thinking, oh, that is so cute that he and his dad enjoy comedy shows and look at the two of them sitting there. I just thought that was very sweet. And then at all the other ones that I had gone to, like around us, different places, there he was, him and his dad, just, So eventually I was starting to do like the little wave, like, hi, because I didn't really know them or anything from anywhere. But I was friendly. And I thought, wow, he seems normal. Like, it'd be nice if I could attract a normal person that likes the things that I do. Anyway, so this went on for 1.5 years where I would just see him everywhere I went, but we really didn't have much to talk. I would try to initiate a little conversation, but I didn't try too hard. I figured if he wanted to talk to me, he would.
Yeah. Okay.
And then this is going to sound so horrible, but what turned the tides for me was when he got hit by a car. So because he was in the venue on crutches. So now I'm like, now I have like that's my opportunity. I walk up, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, the crutches. So I got to, I totally, did that. I was like, oh my God. And then he told me what happened. We chatted a little bit more that day, but then not again, you guys, for like months. And then I went to see a show at Soul Joel's that a few of my friends were in. And it was right after Christmas. It was like, I want to say December 28th. And I went by myself because none of my girlfriends were free to go, but I knew a bunch of people in the show. Yeah. So I just figured out it was fun. I'll know enough people when I get there. At that point, I was going everywhere by myself. So it was really no different. And he was there. And he waved and he gestured over to where he was sitting. And he's like,
would you like to sit here?
He was like, are you sitting with anybody? I'm like, well, no. I'm like, is your dad here? And he was like, no, my dad's not here. He's like, you can sit here. I was like, thanks. So I sat a seat away from his seat. Like I left like an empty seat in between mine and his because I figured that would be what I do. And but then I excused myself to get up and visit the bathroom. And he was like, well, I'm going to go get a beer. And he was like, do you want one too? And then I was like, okay, thanks. But then he knew he had noticed what kind I was getting there. So when I came out of the bathroom, he was holding 2 beers.
So he had the beer that you liked.
He did. And then when we got back to the row we were sitting in, I went to sit down in the one seat away from him seat. And he was like, will you stop that? And then he like had me move over one to actually sit next to him.
Oh, that's neat.
And I was like, oh, and then he put his arm behind my back, like in the chair. And I was like, what is happening? Like, it was like so funny. And I've been with him ever since. Very strange, but
wow.
It just took 1.5 years.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I just had to stalk them for a year and a half, you guys. And if they get hit by a car, we'll help you. It might shave a few months off of it for you.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
You
He'll
have
never
to-
find out you were driving.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to make combos somehow.
Yeah.
No.
You have to make it happen, Karen.
Yeah.
make it happen.
Sandra's in the passenger seat. You're don't kill him.
Yeah.
There he is.
Just hit him.
Yeah.
Boom.
little
He's
bit.
down. Now,
Just tap
this is your
it.
chance. Run.
Tap it.
Run and
Yeah.
and
the
talk
long
to him
play.
and rescue him and
It's a long game. It's a long game. Sometimes you have to just hit them a little bit with the car. Just like enough.
Whatever you got to do.
Whatever you gotta do.
yeah, whatever you got to do. I mean, he's a good guy. I like him.
I do too.
I like him. I
Me
like
too.
him.
Me
Well,
too.
surprisingly, we started in the fall. So it could have been.
Maybe we were.
It could have
cuffing.
been.
Maybe we were
cuffing.
like comedy partnership cuffing. Like make a podcast with me.
Can I ask you're I think, because I know where you're going. It is interesting that it is kind of a trial run. Like all the holidays in America, I guess I'm doing, but even Carnival. If you make it through Carnival with somebody, it might be a better chance that you like this person more. You know what I mean? Like you really
That's a
vibe
good
with
point.
them. Same thing with like all the holidays and everything. Like
Right.
you're going to parties, you're doing holiday stuff maybe,
Yeah.
and it's like a trial run. So if you hit November,
Well,
it ain't
yeah.
going well. Like
Right.
just
But to your point, Lo, if you make it through like the work Christmas party
sure.
where they meet like your coworkers and their spouses or whatever, and then like your family at your holidays, if you've blended them in with the people you already had in your life through
Yeah.
these other events and they fit there and like, it's good for both of you.
Right.
And then you can do that likewise for their events. Like that's the magic.
Well,
of it.
it's different because for Carnival, it's not the same pressure because in a way it's like, oh, we had such a good time together, and actually there's no meeting family and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
But people usually will be with one person that'll be like their
Yeah.
FB for that
Sure.
season, and that kind of
They're fleshing it out. Let's say.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends. They might meet family, but then over there you meet family even when you don't want. I mean, it's very intertwined.
Right.
The whole family.
Close
thing.
knit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you dance with your grandma. I mean, this.
Heck yeah.
right.
People dance with their.
Yeah.
The whole dancing is not just among peers. I
Sure.
mean,
Intergenerational.
yeah,
Yeah.
Of course.
yeah. You better dance with your mom if your mom is there and she wants to. You're gonna
yeah.
dance with your mom. You see young man going, hey,
Yeah, definitely. I've been the young
grandma.
man.
They have a good
Yeah.
time, but it's a different. You hold your grandma and your mom like
Sure.
at a
Yeah.
arm's length,
Yeah. You're not.
But
yeah,
then
well,
with the girl, it's like closer.
That's-
You know,
yeah, of
so-
course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grandma, I'm just gonna rotate off real quick. There's a girl across the party. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of dancing.
Just real
Yeah,
quick.
and then the grandma is like, remember, I dance only one tile, my hip. I
Yeah.
cannot. Okay,
Of course.
you turn when you're
Right.
ready, when you're
Yeah.
done, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not the pressure of meeting
Okay.
coworkers and stuff and that
Sure.
kind
It's
of
just like a
thing.
big party. Like it seems.
Yeah.
Like just
Well,
a
yeah,
big fun.
I mean, Carnival, you
Okay.
they throw. I mean,
Well, we should ask you then. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, during Carnival season, first of all, because it's hot, it's kind of more. It's not quite raining yet,
Yeah.
so it's
Right.
people. There are certain towns that people go to because they have a reputation of having parades and having the celebration and all that. But during the day, they actually throw water at you,
Oh.
buckets of water.
Okay.
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 And you don't know who's going to throw water at you.
Okay.
Actually, usually municipalities have like big trucks, like
Nice.
I don't know how they call them,
Mhm.
cisterns. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, they have big trucks and they have water and they spray the crowd, and
You
they
guys, like-
throw like colored,
Oh. Okay.
like sometimes
Oh,
like
the-
buckets of color. I don't know where
Color
that
like not
tradition
paint,
comes
probably
from.
wash. Yeah. You don't.
I don't know the origin.
There's a
You
few
guys have
cultures that do that though. with
Yes,
the
but
colors.
the Indians
Yeah,
do it.
They do.
Right.
So I don't know.
Is it
Panama's
for,
so multicultural
Yeah.
that it could have an influence
Holi,
from.
I want to say it's
Yes,
like the
yes,
festival
yes, yes.
color.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. But that has, and I haven't seen that in I don't know. I think that disappeared, but it's mostly the water.
Okay.
And then people dress accordingly because they're prepared to be
Right.
sold.
You're gonna get
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they carry
All
usually
white.
like
Right.
portable.
right.
They
I
carry
know.
flasks or like bottles of water,
Sure.
but full of alcohol, usually
Right.
rum mixed with something. So everybody's drunk. you can
Right.
expect
And you're
everybody
just
to be
wearing
drunk.
your wet white clothes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and
like stuck to
and the
you.
t-shirts that stick,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and then you're
boy.
dancing and you're very close with somebody, with
Yeah.
people that you don't know, but
It's a
usually
beautiful celebration.
you have
Sounds like-
someone and you're holding hands because there are crowds and
Yeah.
you want to get lost and
And
then,
then grandma's in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's always a grandma in there.
it can get
Yeah.
so wild
It's an
that
abuela.
people don't find restrooms. because it's
Oh,
gross, but
yeah,
they
of
might
course.
because they're already
So
wet.
is it like Times
Well,
Square on New
yeah,
Year's Eve?
yeah,
Like, just
it's
people,
Times Square. We live in Philly. What are we talking? I live in Philly, I should say.
yeah,
do
we
people
both,
just go
yeah.
in the street for New Year's? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, New Year's,
Well, right now there
mummers.
was a guy on our way in. It was
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
exactly. No, that's probably true.
That was me actually before.
Is what holiday in like that culture? What holiday would be a big holiday to bring someone to? Is it like Christmas is held
Christmas
as
and New
Christmas?
Year's, yeah.
New
And
Year's would
people
be
do
the-
bring someone,
that
and
makes
it's
sense.
no, I don't know. Sometimes I remember I dated someone whose family was they were actually putting pressure on me, not
Yeah.
him. He was not embarrassed
Okay,
because I think he was interested in me, but I was not interested in him that way.
right.
But the family was like already almost making plans or suggesting things,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah,
And that made me get out of the
Right.
situation.
yeah. I've seen that. That's
Quicker.
weird.
Even quicker.
Yeah, it's weird when parents
Yeah,
are kind of
because-
like,
Yeah. It's almost like you're tricked into, wait a minute, I thought you just wanted to bring someone because, you know, because of I don't know,
Right.
you know, we're okay, it's a date, that's no expectations, whatever. But then this happens,
yeah.
you know.
I've met when the parents are like almost super into the idea of you more than the person is, and it's
Yes.
weird. It's very
Yeah.
strange. It does
Yeah.
not help. It
Yeah.
usually drives you to apart.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we remain friends and you know, but that was very weird. That was very strange. It was very strange. But people usually, you know, bring all that is not really pressure.
Okay. Yeah.
The idea of holiday parties, like work holiday parties, I don't think that many offices do holiday parties
Sure.
outside of work hours. They basically
Right.
during the workday they do, and it's just us.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like
True.
oh, you know, bring your spouse, and you know, it's more like that, so that doesn't happen. So it's not really that much pressure.
Yeah, it's a little, I guess, a little antiquated at this point. A lot of people work from
Yeah.
home, you know, stuff like that now. But
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
still do a party. Well, because at school we really can't.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, and in companies and whatever, you know,
Yeah.
they do that, and I think it's a good practice. I like it.
yeah, I mean, friendship, you know, friends are having parties. Everyone's, you know, they're having a Halloween party. They're
Yeah.
doing all kinds of stuff. So there's tons of stuff to go to. But I feel like it is a good thing. Like, don't steer away. I feel like we're talking about cuffing season, but don't get in your head about it, right? It's like, hey, if it happens, it happens.
Right.
Conscious of it.
Right.
So, yeah, and like, you know, but you never, you know, if you make it past Valentine's Day or whatever, and then great, good, or you know, don't think about it.
Right.
Like,
Maybe you
just-
go to St. Patty's Day
so-
together.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it work
that's-
out, you know. Maybe
that's
you
why
guys
I
will
said
be sharing a
coughing
green
could
beer
lead-
together,
could
you
lead
know?
to long term,
You
you
never
know,
know.
because some people may just find that, hey, I came into this thinking it would be a seasonal thing or a temporary, or
Mm.
and I'm liking this situation.
Yeah.
You know, I like this person after all,
There are some people that after the lease, you know, they buy it.
right?
So you never know, right?
Right.
So, you know, it happens.
Yeah, they buy the cow.
It happens. Buy
They
it.
get milk and then buy the cow. That's what my grandfather used to say.
People shaking his head.
Buy the
The
cow.
patriarchy right now, Sandra.
Buy
the
The
cow.
patriarchy
I
is
just
winning. You
love-
know that, right?
I just love the
My grandfather would say, remember, buy the cow. You know, what he meant is, you know, marriage before.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, buy a
can't-
cow, no milk for free.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, Grandpa, you're calling me a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, everybody's a cow. Everybody's a
Well, back then too, like the families gave the guy money and gifts just for taking her off their hands. Like it was a different time.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
was definitely a different time.
Oh my gosh. So hard. I know that I would have died. I would have been killed very quickly in other times.
Jesus.
I would have been burned at
Sure.
the stake.
All of us.
Oh,
Salem.
yes.
Salem.
was Salem.
He just came back
Yeah,
from
I was in
saving
Salem.
everyone
They did a
rich.
lot of that.
Yeah.
Rich.
A
That
lot of
happens. That was
that.
big.
Shout
A
out.
lot of that. And, you know, we definitely, yeah.
And also, that wasn't even men's fault, technically, right? They were little kids. Don't forget, they were accusing the witches.
Yeah, they were.
They were just being buttheads, really. Just a bunch of kids acting out. there was a point where they're like, yeah, it's so crazy. These, especially the little girls, when you hear their circumstances, you're like, what? Of course they were acting out. They're meant to not be seen. They're literally just like, go sit in the corner until I have something to do for you. Like they didn't go outside often, the women, especially like Puritan society. And then you're like, yeah, it's so weird that they were acting a little rambunctious as 12-year-olds. Like,
and then they were like, you're a witch.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
then
you're acting like that.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would have just not, I think I would have been burned before puberty. Totally. Yeah.
Well, we're ending strong. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
We're ending on a strong
not
note.
only that, it's just that life was so hard in the past.
Tough.
You know, when you see that there was, no anesthesia, no antibiotics. I mean, people could die from anything and everything.
Yeah. You made it past 40, you were old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, and I have such a low threshold of pain. For me, anything is like, oh, okay, I'm dying. This is it. I'm a goner.
You stubbed your toe. Sit down for 5 seconds. Jeez. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. I would have totally, perished. Yeah. I'm not tough.
You're not the only one.
No. When I see that, in all the stories of people in our families, I'm sure. And then they would have to, carry buckets of water or go to school and walk on the famous go to school in the snow. That was my dad's thing. They're going to school in the snow and I was like, man, I would have been illiterate. That would have been too much for me.
I mean, like my grandparents survived the Armenian genocide.
There you go.
America. And I'm like, oh, well, I had to stay in my house for a while. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just different. It's the things that, it's relative.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like cuffing season.
Like
it's relative. Season. You never know. Hey, you might be in it for a long time. You might get married to that person or maybe not.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know. And sometimes, sometimes those marriages last forever.
Like yours?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Clap for the marriage, people. It's important.
No, you know what?
Yes.
I support that. My parents have been together 56 years.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle, very long time. Yeah.
No, of course, we argue all the time. We're always complaining to each other, but
you know what though?
No, let's leave it there. Don't tell anybody. Marriage is perfect. Don't worry about
perfect.
it.
Perfect.
But you're choosing to argue with that same person forever. And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
We're selling it now.
Like, I want to fight with you for the rest of my life. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, after a while, here's the thing. You realize that you're not going to change that person. You're not going to change him. He's not going to change you. You're not going to change him. And so, you have to kind of, just make peace with that and think, do I like more? The things that I like about this person are many more than what I dislike.
Right.
And, I can live with this or, I know it's going to happen or whatever, Yeah. It's, yeah.
So he has to have the turkey leg every single time and he eats it very loudly at the table. Who cares? I still love him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Or if it bothers me, I know that I just take my thing and go to a different.
Yeah. Banish him from Thanksgiving table like we do. Yeah. You eat outside.
Or banish myself in a way, okay.
We learned a lot. I didn't know this much about cuffing season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
That was fun. It's a fun
cuffing season.
What did you guys have? Comment up and make sure to plug your social medias or where people can find you.
Yeah, well, I have the show on the 13th. Then I have another show at the Kelly Center on the 21st of the month. And then I have another show at the Lac Paradise on October 3rd. And it's like a Hispanic month. I don't know if I think I should know this. I think it's September, but I don't know why October 3rd, but hey, thank you for thinking of us Hispanics.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then
that's what I have going on.
Yeah. And you're Sandra Doss Comedy? Or hit them with the social media just so they know where to look you up. Yeah.
And my Instagram is Sandra Doss Comedy. And so is my TikTok. And Facebook, Sandra M. Doss. A lot of people don't use it. They say they don't, but they do.
They do. Still a big platform.
Yeah.
People need to stop lying about
Twitter also, Sandra Doss Comedy.
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't do much there, but ways to find me.
Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Karen?
Okay. On Facebook, I'm Karen Schwarz. And on Instagram, I'm SchwarzBollinger, SchwarzBollinger. I have this weekend, I'm in a backyard comedy show called the Backyard Shenanigans. That's the one at Meredith Steyer's house.
Oh, you are?
And
on that.
I'm in that one. And then I'm at Rosie's Taco Bar. And that one is Friday night. Neil, you know.
Oh, it's the 20th. I'm sorry.
The 20th. The 20th. Thank you. So, yes. So, September 20th, I'll be at Rosie's.
Hey, how you doing? This is Neil Wood, one of the co-owners of Drop 10 Media Network and who helps run Biggest Little Comedy. You can check out all the other stuff we do at drop10.com. We've got podcasts, live comedy shows, and so much more. Go over there, support your favorite podcasts, follow them, subscribe. We appreciate it. Again, we're 100% DIY, just a bunch of creatives trying to make it in this, and give us some feedback. We always enjoy a little feedback. Thanks.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.